Reunion show. We're live in Los Angeles where Cochran, he no longer has a first name, has just won $1 million. We have a big show planned, a lot to get to. Brenda will join us later via satellite with some big news of her own. Boston Rob is here. He has a message for Philip. I showed you Rudy from season 1. Richard Hatch is going to win, and a lot of tweets. But first, our winner. He is one of the biggest fish out of water stories in Survivor history. His name is Cochran.
I rarely leave my apartment. I rarely leave Twitter.
Cochran, that is the worst sunburn I've ever seen. When did that happen? Instantly.
I can't be the same freak I was last time.
Go. Cochran pulls it out for immunity. Cochran is on a tear. Cochran wins final immunity.
This is the same guy that was afraid to take off his shirt last time I played. But now I'm not the little Harvard nerd.
Cochran, how often does that happen?
More often than you think.
So, you said it a few times, but you kind of referred to this as almost an out-of-body experience. You've studied this game from when you really were a kid, a teenager, and here you are, and not only did you win, you earned the last name. You dominated in this game. So, from the sort of self-proclaimed Harvard nerd, how does that feel?
I mean, it obviously feels incredible.
Point of view of the first time you played, you were so uncomfortable. You were the 0 in 90210, as you said. And now you're very confident. You have a completely different style.
Yeah. My mother helped me pick this out. To be fair. But you're right. I mean, the first time I went into it so anxious that people were going to perceive me as a nerd, they were going to perceive me as, you know, a socially awkward freak. And I'm fundamentally the same socially awkward, freaky nerd guy, but the difference is that instead of those eccentricities and quirks being a source of, you know, embarrassment or anxiety for me, I've just accepted it as like a reality of my existence, and that's immensely liberating because I got to focus on the game this time instead of worrying about how I'm perceived, which really ruined my game the first time. But being able to focus on the game I've loved for half my life, you know, it was borne out by the results, I guess, but it was a dream come true.
So what is that message? Because there are a lot more, I think this is fair to say, there are a lot more of us in the world that are like you than are Malcolm, with the flowing locks and I do everything in my, you know, swimming suit. So you're the guy, Cochran, that says on any given day, anybody can amaze you if they believe. Do you get kids coming up to you saying, I relate to you because I'm kind of like you?
Yeah, I mean, it helps that I kind of resemble an 11-year-old, but yeah, I do kind of have that, you know, same kind of scrappy underdog appearance and demeanor that I think appeals to kids. And, you know, yeah, it's, I don't know, I have a coherent answer. I'm kind of speechless right now.
How are you different today? Fundamentally, you seem very different to me, just looking at how you're composed. How are you? What changed as a result of playing twice?
I mean, like I kind of said, accepting my eccentricities as just a part of me instead of letting it be a source of embarrassment. I'm proud of who I am. I mean, this is, I'm just kind of, you mentioned Richard Hatch. I'm imagining the 13-year-old kid, I was John back then. If I could go back in time and say to that 13-year-old, in a little over a decade, you're going to be doing what that guy in Borneo is doing, it's incredible, and it speaks to some sort of metamorphosis, whether it's just a heightened sense of confidence or if it's just, I don't know. I can't
What's the advice for a new player? You played twice, you studied it, you wrote a thesis at Harvard about Survivor and the jury system.
There are probably like a few key pillars. One of them is you should go to bed every night. I think maybe Boston Robson, as somebody mentioned, you should go to bed every night thinking about what the best move for each of your opponents is, because then you can craft your own arguments to those people to appeal to those self-interests and, you know, adjust your game accordingly. You have to be calm without being complacent and be vigilant without being paranoid. And it's a constant tightrope balancing act. And, you know, it's easier said than done, but I think if you can execute on that, it works out.
You recently graduated Harvard Law. Lawyer? Is that the future? Are you going law? Or has this awakened some inner spirit and you're going to do something else?
Yeah, there's some tribal spirit in me ready to burst out. I don't think I'm going to be a lawyer. I am graduating, but Survivor did kind of make me feel like you can pursue your dreams. It's so corny to say that. I feel stupid even saying pursue your dreams.
What's the dream?
I'd like to write in some capacity. I feel like, you know, I have the gift of gab, you know?
You do. And you can't back off now because you just said I have to accept and go for what I am. So, all right, I do have our first Twitter question, which is from Patty at 4 Grays. She says, hey, Cochran, how do you feel about being considered a sex symbol now?
Man, well, first off, you can follow me on Twitter at @JohnMCochran. And how I feel about being a sex symbol, first off, you should tweet me, and I'll show you how much of a sex symbol I am.
Are you dating or not? Oh, so you're single.
I'm single.
Okay,
you know,
Patty at 4 Gray Z's, tweet Cochran. He's on there. All right. Dawn was side by side with Cochran the entire 39 days. But the result was very different. No votes, lots of tears. For Dawn, this season was one big roller coaster of emotions.
It is kind of funny that I cry so much. But it's almost impossible not to cry when I think what $1 million can do for my family. I have 6 children.
Everybody knows I cry.
No surprise.
The thing that's hardest about the game is that it makes you feel kind of schizophrenic how quickly the emotions change.
I just want to eat. The game's just breaking me down. I'm beyond rational thinking.
Dawn, I'm proud of you that you're not crying now after watching yourself cry.
No tears. Yeah, it's unique to the game for me for some reason. I think the tears are cleansing. People have been kind enough to send me emails on the medical benefits of crying. And so I think there's a hormonal benefit to it. I think there's cleansing.
Okay, but let's get down to it.
Yeah.
First of all, explain it to me. Explain the emotional breakdowns, because everybody here and everybody who didn't make the jury, they had the same experience as you, but they weren't crying every day.
Yeah. I have to believe that for myself, I had to go completely against my character in this game to vote out the people I loved. And when you saw me vote out Corinne, I was really, really close with Corinne. And so from that point on, that should have let everybody know I was in it to play no matter what. And that showed me, I started to lose stability at about the Corinne vote, I think, because it was painful to let go. I played a completely different game this time.
After last week's episode, when
Yeah.
you voted out Brenda, which
Yes.
we're going to get to.
Okay.
Brenda's on satellite,
Yeah.
waiting to talk. You've not talked. I saw, even through my social media,
Yeah.
how it was devastating
Yeah.
what people said to you and the things they wished would happen to
Yeah.
you.
Obviously, the game is extremely personal for everyone that plays it. I don't know that there's anyone here that didn't have their feelings hurt on a deep level, regardless of the fact that we signed up for it. We know we signed up for it, but you don't expect to build the bonds that you do, and that's why it's so hard.
I'm
the
talking
media
about the
hit.
public. So
Yeah.
let
So
me
on
set it
Twitter?
up.
Okay.
Let me set it up differently.
Okay.
Watching television's changed. It's forever changed. You no longer sit at home with your bag of Doritos and yell at the TV screen. You write to the person on the screen, and in most cases, they have one account too, and they write back.
Yeah.
So when you hear this, does it change? It takes an incredible constitution. You have to know who you are.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're on the ground.
Yeah.
Do you understand who you are, or did it get to you?
It didn't get to me. I knew who I was. The game has changed me in that way. I didn't know who I was before I played 2 years ago. Now, receiving all that feedback, I had to say, thank goodness I know. And my family helped reinforce. I'm not saying there weren't days, because there were thousands of messages. Enough to where I shut down my Twitter account. Because
You shut it down because you don't want to hear
I shut it down. Yeah, it was extreme, and I just decided, you know what, I know who I am. I know who I am, and I don't want to have that much negativity, thrown my way. I just choose not to read it.
All right, well, one of the biggest moments of the season with Dawn involved Brenda. And if you didn't see it, let me remind you, after Brenda found Dawn's missing teeth, if I may use this phrase that somebody gave me, Dawn turned around and bit her in the butt with them.
Yeah.
It was a massive and painful blindside. The two have not spoken since the show ended. Brenda didn't want to hear from her. Brenda is in Miami now on satellite, and we'll explain why she's on satellite in a minute. So, Brenda, you're here. You genuinely seemed pained when that happened.
Yeah, it was very real. I didn't think I would play so hard with my heart, especially the second time around, but circumstances, as you saw, made me so close to Dawn, unbelievably close, and I really thought it was mutual. So that feeling of being betrayed by her really, really hurt.
All right, so Dawn, I know you've tried to reach out.
Yeah.
She didn't want to. She
Sure.
can't avoid you now. She's here.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say to Brenda? You can look right into there and talk to her
Yeah.
in Miami.
Well, for one, I legitimately hate that it caused so. I mean, had I known that it was going to cause that kind of hurt, it was a deep hurt. I regret
Okay,
it.
let me be a little audience here. You swore at a time where you were so vulnerable that I think most people thought this goes beyond the outwit, outplay, outlast.
Mm-hmm.
Something weird happened there, and Brenda stopped the game for a moment and said, woman to woman, I got your back.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say I hate that it went that, it feels
Oh,
to
no,
me-
I hate the reaction. I chose to play the game to vote out anybody that didn't have the same last name as these 6 kids in the front. So I have to own that.
So do you want to apologize, or do you
I
say...
absolutely want to apologize. I did get to talk to her briefly at Ponderosa and explain to her what happened. It's just that I think as time goes by and you relive
What's
the
the
experience...
apology?
Oh, I'm so sorry it hurt her, and I appreciate
Tell
all she
her,
did to
Dawn.
put... Yeah.
Dawn, she's here.
Yeah,
Tell
no,
her.
Brenda, I mean, I have reached out. I do want you to know I do care about you, and I do hate that it hurt you, and I do appreciate that you helped me save my game. I really love you, and I'm happy for this part in your life that it's behind.
Brenda, one of the great things about Survivor is that when the game's over, you don't have to see these people again if you don't want to. Is there going to be a friendship here with Dawn,
Right.
or will it take more time?
I think time has gone by, which really has helped. I think ironically the episode was so close that I'm still feeling it, but I did feel that Dawn was a good person. I'd love to hear about her family, and that's why I bonded with her. It wasn't just a teeth thing.
So do you accept the apology?
To lose a good friend, absolutely. I feel
Okay.
like I lost a friend and then gained one, so that's good.
All right, and we have one little thing. Brenda, stand up and show us why you can't be with us tonight, because you have some great news of your own. Big news.
Well, yeah, after Survivor, you gain a little weight, but I gained a little extra weight, a little baby weight.
Brenda is pregnant and is literally due any day, which is why she couldn't be here. Thank you, Brenda. Hang tight. Don't go anywhere. Still to come tonight, Malcolm. He couldn't defeat the Harvard nerd, but does he have a career as a soap star? And if you have a question for this guy, tweet it to us now. It's hashtag Survivor Finale. Boston Rob is next. Take a big break. We're live. Survivor Reunion will continue only CBS.
Moving.
This is Beetle Larva.
It's moving.
Go.
Go, 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 go!
So disgusting. I love that challenge. All right, we are live in Los Angeles. It is the Survivor Fans versus Favorites reunion show. One of the biggest characters this season was former federal agent turned Stealth RS ambassador, Philip Shepard. Philip, you are, and you know this, a polarizing figure. So, yes. From the first time to the second time, was there a change in how people saw you? Did it remain the same?
Absolutely. I mean, it was wonderful, the response I've gotten from fans all over the world. The Twitter changed, the Facebook changed. Everybody is really digging the way I played this season.
I like that. I have heard, this is crazy, that two people I know in my life have told me that they ended up watching the show with you because you just walk around and then somebody will say, hey, Philip, come watch the show. And you go, all right.
Yeah.
So you have fan viewing parties.
Absolutely. I generally run into somebody on the street. They'll tell me how much they love the show. They've been watching the show for 14 years and what have you. And they'll say, we love you. We'll have a great conversation. I'll say, why don't you come on out with us?
You saw some photos of it there. So,
yeah.
All right. Before we get to the BR rules, just quickly, Stealth RS, do those come to you in a vision, the names? How do you do that?
I've given out over 2,000 names already to people. But in the show, what happens is I study the person. I get a sense of who they are, like I've done with you. And I have a name.
For me?
For Stealth RS.
Give me a name.
That name is the Piercing Eagle. Soaring from above, arising above the fray, and coming in with a question that is piercing and on point. Welcome to Stealth RS.
Thank you, us. Thank you very much, Phil. Well, this season, Philip, it was very vocal that he modeled his game after, I think, one of the best ever played, Boston Rob. He even took to creating something that he called the BR rules. Take a look.
Pretend you're Boston Rob.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. I played with the smartest player that I've ever had an opportunity to play with, Boston Rob.
Oh!
In fact, I created something called the BR rules. The BR rule 1 would be get an alliance. BR rule 2, get an alliance within the alliance. BR rule 3, keep your enemies close and you keep your friends. You keep your friends close and you keep your enemies closer. I had an organization called Stealth RS. I've given them each a name. Eliminator, the Enforcer, Serenity.
Nice.
BR rule 4, get rid of your alliance before it gets rid of you.
Wait.
watched this season, Philip, and he flew all the way here to Los Angeles to be here tonight with a message. What's going on, brother? How you doing? All right, so obviously you watched.
Yes.
Now, first of all, what do you think? It's got to be a nice gesture that he called his game based after you, the BR rules.
I'll just start by saying, Philip, I think you're one of the most entertaining characters the show has ever seen. I personally was flattered beyond belief that you chose to emulate your game based on mine. Of course, if we're being honest, you had a little bit of trouble with execution, right? But when it was all said and done, I was proud of you, and you actually inspired me to put pen to paper and create the first official copy of the Boston Rob rule book. Okay, I want to present it to you tonight.
Hold on. Wait a second. Okay, so this is a legit book with what? Your rules for Survivor?
These are the strategies with which I live my life. And you know what, Philip? You never know when CBS and Survivor may call again. This may just come in handy for you.
Yes, sir.
So, is this, okay, is this a legit book?
Probst, get the book.
Okay,
You
all
can
right.
use it.
Okay, go. Give it to him. This is a big moment for Philip. His idol.
Thank you, brother.
While they do that, clearly I need the book. The BR rules. Later, we're going to reveal the winner of Sprint's Player of the Season award. And up next, he's one of the most popular to ever play. So popular, he played last season as a fan. We asked him to come back and play this season as a favorite, and you were devastated when he was voted out. Malcolm is next. But first, bring it down for a second. Change it up for a second. Let's lose the music. My suitcase is packed. We leave tomorrow to begin filming our 27th season, and rather than tell you where we're going, we decided to tease you with what we're doing. So this is a clue to what we're doing next season. You're going to take a look, and then I'm going to ask you to tweet us at hashtag Survivor Finale. Tell us what you think it means. Take a look. That's all you get. Tweet us, hashtag Survivor Finale. Malcolm is next.
Doing 2 seasons back to back, there's still like a part of me that needs to be back out here to get the job done.
No way.
No.
I got an idol. Na, 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 na.
I'm the only one in the game who knows where both idols are. But my head's in the guillotine right now.
Who wants some? I love this game. I'm not going down without some fireworks. So this is the other immunity idol I've been hanging on to. I'm giving it to Eddie.
The second time it swung for the fences, and yeah, it crashed and burned, but I went down in flames.
We are back. It is the Survivor Fans versus Favorite Live Reunion Show with Malcolm. So, you know, we asked a lot of you because literally the moment you were voted out the first time you played, we said, do you want to do it again? We need to know now. And you didn't hesitate. You had no time to recover. Literally like a few days.
Yeah.
After a 37 whatever days you lasted out there. What is that like? Can you explain it to somebody, the wear and tear?
I mean, this is so crazy. You hear stories from seasons past about breaking people down one season, doing it one time, and there was no break. I think I had a week or so, and it's compounds. It's exponentially worse doing it back to back like that. And to this day, like muscle mass wise, I haven't recovered.
Still,
yeah.
What did you learn from playing twice? Because once you play once, the game is different. You see it more slowly, right?
Well, you learn humility after 2 of these, but
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I thought I was going to strut out there and like, there would be no competition. I'd win everything and it'd just be a cakewalk. But that's what makes it so fun. Like you just said, anybody can win it. I love Cochran. But like if you told me on day one of Karam, I thought he'd be the first one gone. He was laying on the beach upside down because his feet were burned. And like I'm just like, how does that? So, but that's what makes the game so much fun. So it's humbling and you learn that you're not infallible.
I want to ask you something that I got more Twitter questions about this than I think any other for you. And this one's from Colette Lala, who says, why didn't Malcolm go along and look for the idol even though Andrea was sitting there at the well?
I looked for a good long time. It's a television show. My hands were bloody from digging. And again, I found 3 idols over 2 seasons without a clue. And then I finally get one, and I get like, nagging little sister won't leave me alone. So it still stings a little bit. But I did look. I wasn't just, farting around, being bored hitting on Andrea.
All right. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about Andrea and the boys. All season long, moms, grandmas, daughters, more than a few guys have been swooning over Malcolm and his movie star looks. Well, Malcolm got his chance to test his acting chops on the bold and the beautiful. Take a look.
Great job on those promos. Nice hook.
Thank you, Mr. Forster. And I wanted to congratulate you on winning the fashion challenge.
Thank you, Malcolm.
A few tense moments in there, but you won fair and square and didn't lose your marbles.
Aside from the acting career you're probably pursuing, who typically comes up to you?
I get a lot of kids. And it's one of those things, I don't think it's totally stems from Survivor. It's just that I've always worked with kids. Like, I taught elementary school for a year. All through college, I did Special Olympics. And, I get tons of kids, and I love it. And I get along with kids.
There are so many fans of yours and Cochran that are young people today, but we saw one earlier, and I wanted to find out what it is. Jules, stand up. How are you?
Good.
Are you nervous?
Yes.
Okay. Let me put my arm around you. Boston Rob's in front of you. Rudy's behind you. You are surrounded by Survivor royalty. What is it about Malcolm? All the little girls and boys like him.
That he is competitive, and...
So is it the hair, or is it just that he's so good at everything?
I think both.
You took your time with that. Do you want to do Survivor? Is that something you would do one day?
I'm not sure. I think I'd have to have time to think about that.
Okay, I'm not asking you to be on the show right now. I'm just putting the thought in your head because you remind me of Andrea. Go up to Andrea. Thank you, Jules. Andrea, that's you. I mean, how old were you when we started this? First time you played, you were like 20, 21?
I was 21 on Redemption Island.
And the thing that seems to get in your way, because, again, you're a very good player in this game, but Reynolds and Eddie, it's the boys that get you in trouble.
It's the boys. You gotta stop putting me on the island with these handsome men. It's distracting.
What is it, what's the afterlife when you get blindsided with an idol in your pocket?
I know. I mean, the thing, though, is I respect the game so much, and I loved working with these two, and Philip and Stealth or us. I had so much fun, and it was their best move. They got me, so I went out laughing.
Is that on a bookshelf somewhere? What do you do with that?
I wear it all the time, actually. I would love to sell it, see how much I could make, but my mom would be pissed. She would not let me.
Reynolds, what's the biggest difference? Because you obviously were savvy to the game very quickly, but you're playing with favorites, guys who played before, like Malcolm and Philip and all these other guys, Cochran. What's the biggest difference that you saw that they did that you didn't do?
I think that returning players know how to control your emotions and stay detached. You can't really prepare yourself, and when you play the game Survivor for the first time, you like form these real relationships with people, and then they can betray you, and it's really hard to get over that and still think like rationally.
So the second time, you don't take it personally.
Yeah, after the game, it's like we're all good friends now. You realize like it really is just a game, and that's what everyone says. It's just a game. Don't take it personally, but it's easier said than done.
All right, up next, we have $100,000 to give away. It is our Sprint Player of the Season honors, and it's going to go to one of these season's survivors. Who will it be? Plus, a fun look back on our very first season 13 years ago. We have a special appearance by Richard Hatch. We'll be right back. Survivor Reunion will continue only CBS. Well, Survivor's come a long way since our first season premiered back in the summer of 2000, 13 years ago. Let's take a look. You are witnessing 16 Americans begin an adventure that will forever change their life. Go! Pick it up! Pick it up!
I would definitely rather have fish than rat.
It's like chicken a little bit.
Guys, bon appetit.
Me and Richard got to be pretty good friends, not in a homosexual way, that's for sure.
We have Richard the snake and Kelly the rat. Let it be in the end the way Mother Nature intended it, for the snake to eat the rat.
We are back with one of the originals, Rudy Bosch. He was a 72-year-old Navy SEAL when he played. You're now 85?
Yeah, 85.
And you look great.
It's all that easy living.
So you've done a lot. I mean, your career as a Navy SEAL alone was a lifetime. Where does Survivor rank?
Survivor was nothing, you know. Putting up with the people was the hard part. Like my queer buddy Richard.
Yeah, we saw the not in no homosexual way that you became friends. Yes.
You know, when I got back, they made a shirt. I like Rudy, but not in a homosexual way. And I gave one to Rosie O'Donnell. And then she gave me a car.
That's a good deal. Only Rudy can get away with saying this. So, one serious question. Being a Navy SEAL, the last few years, the SEALs have been so much in the news with protecting our country. What kind of pride do you have being one of those guys?
Right here.
Oh, you're wearing it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means I'm a SEAL. And I'm proud of it, and I was one of the original SEALs.
Well, Richard Hatch wanted to be here, but he couldn't. And so Richard wanted to send you a message. This is from Richard. Take a look.
Hey, Rudy, I missed you, bud. You look good. Can you believe how long this show is going on? Hey, bud, do me a favor. Sunscreen?
Rudy, thanks for being here.
I couldn't even call him a queer.
All right. Well, if we had a Sprint Player of the Season award, chances are good Rudy would have won it. The question is, who's going to win it this year? Since Wednesday, Eddie's going to win. You look like an Eddie.
Oh, thanks.
Your family, right? Yeah, brother. All right. Let's see if Eddie's in it, because since Wednesday, you've been texting and voting online. It was actually a record number of votes cast this year for the player of the season. 71% of the votes cast this season were for two people. The first one, Malcolm. The second one is in Miami, pregnant Brenda.
Second one.
The vote was 36% Malcolm, 35% Brenda. Malcolm is the Sprint Player of the Season. You have tweeted us with some very interesting guesses as to what our promo means. When we come back, we will reveal what we're doing next season.
Sprint salutes Malcolm as the Sprint Player of the Season. Congratulations on winning $100,000, courtesy of Sprint.
All right, yes, stand up, Cochran. We have $1 million check for John Cochran. Make sure it's all in there and signed. Congratulations. Welcome to an elite club. All right, if you want to see interviews with Cochran and the runners-up tomorrow, the Survivor After Show, sponsored by Sprint on CBS.com. Okay, earlier we teased you with what we're doing for our 27th season. We got some great responses from the Binkit. They said season 27 looks like it could be a shark attack. No. Stella at I Live in a Van says, it's time to mix up the island with a third tribe. That's what it means. No. Little Novera says, how about piranhas and lots of swimming challenges? All great Survivor things, but not what it is. Here it is, one more time, this time with a little more information. Take a look. That is it. That's all you get, but I can tell you this. We are very pumped about it. We think it's going to bring another little twist to an already great game, and we will share it with you in September. If you want to own a piece of Survivor, you can bid on props from Tribal Council, from the challenges. The website is on the screen now. Proceeds benefit Survivor Stand Up for Cancer. Help raise money to vote cancer off the planet. Bidding starts after the show. If you feel you have what it takes to be on Survivor, all you have to do is put together a 3-minute videotape. All the details are on CBSSurvivorCasting.com. We always appreciate your loyal support. Thanks for keeping us on the air for 13 years. See you in September. Good night.